Today, I want to talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture. And most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them. And those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population. You may have noticed that I'm using the term minor attracted persons.
Oh, we
sometimes
noticed.
Abbreviated to MAPS.
Oh, we know
instead
that.
of the more commonly used term pedophile. And I'm doing this because the term pedophile has moved from being a diagnostic label to being a judgmental, hurtful insult that we hurl at people in order to harm them or slander them. I also prefer person first language that recognizes that any label we might apply to a person is only part of who they are. And
okay, we're going to start this again, and we're going to parse through this a little bit. First of all, whenever you come across videos like this on the interwebs, there could be some context missing. One does not know necessarily who this individual is. Is she a reputable, what did she say she was?
I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist.
A licensed professional counselor and sex therapist who seems to be purporting to have expertise in MAPS. Minor attracted persons. Listen to this.
In Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
and today I want to talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture. And most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them.
Most folks are making incorrect assumptions about minor attracted persons. It's not an assumption. It's in the definition that these are individuals who are attracted to minor persons. Now, I can appreciate there's going to be a semantics debate. When does one become the big P word? Is it by virtue of thoughts or by virtue of action? And I'm going to say this not to compare the gay community to MAPS in spirit or in essence at all. This is the argument that was once upon a time used for homosexuality, for being gay. What is being gay? Is it the thoughts or is it the action? Now, I know from a religious perspective, there's a distinction that people draw between the thought and the action. And they say you may have the thoughts, but you're not the thing until you act on it. And the reason I make the comparison is because we're not far, people, from having people like this insist on adding the M to the LGBTQAI plus 2 now for the exact same reasons that gays fought for gay rights. They said first of all, it's our decision. It affects no one but ourselves. Not exactly the same argument with MAPS, but we're entitled to think what we want, and you can't judge us for it. Was right when the conduct affected only the person having the thoughts or two consenting adults. But now the argument is going to be, you can't punish MAPS for what they think, but only if they act on it. Setting aside all the stats on that, it's going to be a matter of time before there's going to be a push to have M added to the LGBTQAI plus. And I wonder how the communities who fought long and hard for rights which affected them and only them and consenting adults are going to turn off a whole lot of people. And they're marginalized. MAPS are marginalized. How about people who have fantasies about non-consensual sex? There's a word for it. Let's call them RAPs. Blank attracted people. They're marginalized. People who fantasize about RAPE. They're marginalized. No, it's called criminalized because it's criminal activity. And if someone's marginalized for criminal activity or thoughts of criminal activity or compulsion to commit criminal activity, that's not called marginalized. Marginalized are people with beliefs that affect only themselves that are discriminated against.